Good evening. This is the Board of County Commissioners meeting, and I'm calling this meeting to order. It is Tuesday, September 27th, 2022. It is 6 p.m. I'm Carolina Mejia. I'm the chair of the board. To my right is Vice Chair Ty Menser. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. Joining us as well in this boardroom is County Manager Ramiro Chavez, Assistant County Manager Robin Campbell, and Clerk of the Board Jamie Caldwell. We'll start off this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Commissioner Edwards.
Please join me in a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Vice Chair Menser, would you like to do a land acknowledgement, sir?
Yes, ma'am. We would also like to start today with the land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Indigenous Salish peoples whose elders and ancestors have lived on and cared for the land and waterways of this county since time immemorial, and who still inhabit the area today, specifically the Squaxin Island, Nisqually, and Chehalis people, our sovereign tribal partners. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. The purpose of this acknowledgement is to disrupt ongoing erasure of injustices done and to remember history as a stepping stone towards healing.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is the approval of the Tuesday, September 27th agenda. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the agenda for Tuesday, September 27th, 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to remind, at 6:55, I will be using myself today. Apologize for that.
Thank you, sir. We will try to get through the items as quickly as possible. Motion passes. Next is the approval of the board meeting minutes from September 13th, 2022. Is there a motion?
I move to approve board meeting minutes from September 13th, 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. We have one presentation today, and it's the Proclamation for National Hispanic Heritage Month. County Manager?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. This is an opportunity for you to proclaim September 15 through October 15, 2022 as a National Hispanic Heritage Month here in Thurston County. I believe we have members of the public who are visiting to receive this proclamation, so I will ask you to please come to the podium, introduce yourself, and have the opportunity of the board to give you some perspective. Please go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Maria Seguenza. I'm Executive Director for the Commission on Hispanic Affairs. We are a small state agency, cabinet-level agency under the purview of Governor Inslee, and we have the privilege to be housed here in Thurston County. With me, I've got folks that are part of the commission that are in Thurston County to receive this, and we're honored to be here.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Commissioner Lola Flores, and I'm part of the Commission for Hispanic Affairs. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Cynthia Garcia Tamayo, and I am the Operations and Special Projects Manager at the Commission on Hispanic Affairs.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nancy Aguilar. I'm the Communications and External Relations Manager. It's a pleasure being here, sharing this historic moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, commissioners, Commissioner Edwards.
You know, I think I just I'd just take this opportunity to say that this country is great, and part of its greatness is its diversity, and thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. Commissioner Menser.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I feel kind of a special connection to the Latino community. I spent a good part of my life learning Spanish and working in first Mexico and then Argentina, and then I was a student in law school. I studied for a semester in Chile, in Santiago, and those were amazing experiences. I did homestays in Argentina and Mexico, so I really got to experience the cultures there. So it's always exciting to me to have that back into our community, because I know how much how much is added to our community by all those different places and people. So thank you. And also, I want to say, as a law student, I helped found a group called the Central American Refugee Clinic, where we helped Salvadoran refugees seeking political asylum in the United States. So that was an awesome experience. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you all so very much for coming here today. As a Latina myself, a Honduran immigrant, I know the significance of what this month means. As the first Latina elected to a county commission in Washington State, I know the significance of what Thurston County did here. And so I'm just thankful to be celebrating this month alongside all of you. Thank you again for coming and for being here. It really, truly is an honor. With that, County Manager, you are from Ecuador, so I want to give you the chance as well.
Yeah, I appreciate you giving me the floor, Madam Chair. Obviously, this has a particular meaning for me. I am an immigrant from South America, and I can only be thankful for the opportunities this country has provided to me. So thank you for being here this afternoon. I think we share a lot in common, as well as we share a lot in common with the rest of our society. So thank you.
Thank you. With that, sir, I'm ready for a proclamation.
All right. Thurston County Proclamation, Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month. Whereas National Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month celebrates the Hispanic and Latino community and highlights its countless achievements. And whereas many Latino Americans trace their roots to the cultures of the indigenous people of the Americas, to the Spanish explorers, or to those brought as slaves to the New World. And whereas the month of September 15th through October 15th is a time to honor the ways Hispanics and Latinos contribute to our common goals, celebrate their diverse cultures, and to work towards a stronger, more inclusive, and more prosperous society for all. And whereas this month's theme, Unidos, Inclusivity for a Stronger Nation, invites us to reflect on Hispanics and Latino Americans' shared cultures, history, and sense of community. And whereas Hispanics and Latino Americans have enhanced and shaped our national character with centuries-old traditions that reflect the multi-ethnic and multicultural customs of their communities, while adding their own distinct and dynamic perspectives to the story of our country. And whereas Hispanic and Latino Americans represent a significant and fast-growing demographic of Thurston County, and we honor the invaluable ways they strengthen our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Board of County Commissioners hereby proclaims September 15th through October 15th as Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month in Thurston County, and urges residents to join us in celebrating the great contributions of Hispanic and Latino Americans, adopted this 27th day of September, 2022 by the Board of County Commissioners.
Please come to the front for a picture.
At least one of you, or all of you.
One over here. Here. In the middle.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Thank you. That will conclude today's presentation. Next is an opportunity for the public to address the board. The Board of Thurston County Commissioners welcomes comments from the public. However, there are some guidelines governing such comments to ensure they are appropriate and do not take advantage of the fact that most meetings are televised. The general speaking guidelines are as follows. Please introduce yourself, including the address you reside in the county. Please address the board, not the audience or staff. Please silence your cell phones for those members in the boardroom. Speakers are limited to a total of 4 minutes to address the board. Meeting attendees cannot donate their speaking time to another person. No comments that are lewd and offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. Please be respectful. No outburst of any kind. No comments that are commercial in nature, such as promotion of a for-profit business. All materials provided to the county may be considered public records, subject to public release upon request, pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 4256 of the RCW. No remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could eventually come before the board on appeal. Thank you and no electioneering. Thank you so much for your cooperation. With that, I will read the members of the public who have signed up on our list, and then if you haven't signed up, I will call afterwards, and then we will move on to Zoom. First person I have on the list is John Pettit.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Pettit. I'm from Rich Road. I should be able to accumulate my last 3-4 weeks worth of time together, but I'll stay in my 4 minutes. I'll try anyway. I did write a little letter in a little earlier about the fact that it's going to be an ongoing issue, but I wanted to point something out. Thurston County has a comprehensive plan. That is the very base of how your government is set up to work. That is the very basis of the law that you have to follow. And one of those laws that was passed, adopted in 2020, by Commissioner Menzer and Commissioner Edwards, was a definition for capital facilities. Capital facility must be owned by either Thurston County or a public entity. In order to spend money, REIT money, on a facility, it has to be a capital facility, and it has to be done. And currently, you've spent over $5 million on a facility that's owned by a multimillionaire, somebody's friend, I guess. Somebody's got to be getting paid off on this in order to let them build and create their own building out of the expense of the Thurston County taxpayers. Completely inappropriate, and I want to bring that to attention. It will be an ongoing issue. And there's a couple more issues I want to deal with briefly. Is as we're getting closer to tax time, again, one of my complaints, of course, is that the commissioners, Commissioner Mejia and Commissioner Menzer, decided that they would impose an additional home fund tax without a vote of the people. Well, let me make you aware. We have lots of taxes. I've never known you to take away a tax, but you have lots of taxes. So let's just read a few. The regular and optional tax, the transient rental tax, the transportation tax, the special hotel motel tax, the affordable housing tax, criminal justice tax, communication tax, tourism promotion area tax, mental health tax, housing and related services taxes, juvenile detention tax, wireless tax, 911. Then you have the internet VoIP tax, prepaid wireless tax. We also have real estate, roads, and property taxes. We have lots of taxes. We don't need to have more taxes thrown on us, particularly without a vote of the people. I guess I can only take it that some people think that the people aren't smart enough to be able to vote and decide for themselves. Either that or it's a piece of elitism. Which brings me into another topic. You're going to be soon dealing with, I've heard someone want to take credit for dealing with the HCP. We've solved the HCP. There is no solving the HCP. The presentation that's being presented, as I've heard by one of the commissioners out there, is, hey, we've solved it. Well, here's the bottom line. If you happen to be one of the elite, the people with lots of money, the HCP isn't going to hurt you. You just pay a fee. But if you're just a regular property owner that wants to develop your property, you're screwed. A quick example would be if I had 5 acres, let's say over here in Olympia, and I had Olympia pocket gophers there. According to the HCP and your formula, your own chart here, you'd have, it's going to sound ridiculous, but it's the absolute truth. Happy to go over it with anyone. $400,000 in fees to get to use your property. How is that anything except providing elitism to those? Government's supposed to support everyone, not just special friends, provide money to people, and then just treat everyone equally. You don't treat them equally by letting some people be
Thank
able
you,
to
sir.
pay and some not.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Next is Terry Ballard.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I have 2 houses in Tanglewild and a house in Olympia. And as far as responding to staff, I don't want to staff responding to me without exchange of ideals. Thank you. Now, talking about these taxes, he forgot the bus tax, the transit tax. You know, it costs us $47 per ride for somebody else to ride the bus for free. Talk about the veteran tax, okay? We spend more on rent and we spend more on salary than we do out to the veterans. That's just shame. That's just shameful. And we're talking about the REIT funds, and we're talking about a bond. You don't go around people and tell them that we're only spending $52 million. So where's the interest on the bond? All the interest on the bond and everything that you don't buy a car for $20,000 on a loan and decide that you're not going to pay taxes. You're paying $52 million. You're trying to do $52 million for a bond, and it's going to cost the taxpayers with all the interest and everything over $83 million. You don't do that. That's a Jewish proverb. A partial truth is that of a full lie. And this real estate tax and this capital tax, you got a lot of, there's 19 taxes that I count, and 5 of them are belonging to countywide. I don't appreciate taxes of Thurston County that belong to the unincorporated being billed for a building over there called the atrium. You know, I think it's unfair that all the cities, all the incorporated cities that should be paying for that building don't pay the bill, but us in the unincorporated areas do. I think that's very, very unfair, okay? And it's wrong because you're not supposed to be spending. And the allocation for that atrium was originally $8 million for improvements of a building that we don't own, for a $4 million building we don't own, that we're going to rent for a higher cost than anybody ever had it. And then we were going to put $4 million of furniture in. Guess who's footing this bill? Thurston County unincorporated. Isn't that a shame that we're paying for something that's countywide and all the other incorporated cities are letting all the unincorporated cities away from paying anything, paying a dime? And then we want to make this county courthouse a law and justice center. So we're going to give that space to a bunch of rich lawyers charging people a cost, and guess what? They're going to use it just like the buses, for free. There's no cost for them. So who's going to foot that bill? Is that going to be unincorporated again? You know, I'm getting tired of up here and talking about the veteran fund and talking about different funds with Mr. Pettit. I am just appalled that people are just lying through their teeth. And what really got me up here one time was that you were using the mental health tax, the road tax, and the veterans fund to justify that atrium. I was called a liar, of course, and it came out that I wasn't lying, but do you guys apologize for your employees? No, it just continues to be a lie. And I don't know what you people are doing as far as lies, because they're supposed to be reporting the truth. You're supposed to be reporting the truth. And if you don't, that's a gross misdemeanor by law. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next, I have Patty McGuire.
Hi, good evening, Commissioners. My name is Patty McGuire, and I'm here today to talk about the Offutt Lake Lake Management District, and I'm speaking in support of that. And my friend and neighbor, Jody McInturf, couldn't be here tonight. She also lives on the lake, and she asked me to read her letter in support of the district. So with that, she says, Dear Commissioners, I've lived on the northeast corner of the Offutt Lake for the last 20 years. Known in the last years as the lily pad part of the lake, there are now acres of an impenetrable thick mass of them ever spreading unchecked each year. When I first moved here, I was able to swim off my dock and take a boat out. I am completely landlocked now from May through November. The water level continues to dramatically decrease with the volume of lily pads adding to the problem. Over the last 3 years, by the end of the summer, my shoreline dries up to 15 to 20 feet from shore. What was once a pristine sanctuary for wildlife and humans alike continues in stark decline. Where once the previous owners used this lake water in the house, I am now afraid to let my dog and cat near the water due to algae blooms, which I need to tell you, we have one going on right now, slime, and the sludge most of the year. Where once each summer brought bullfrogs, there are now only a small handful, and some years none. Sadly, I'm sure that there are many more impacts to wildlife beyond what I can personally witness. The future looks bleak without us stewarding Offutt Lake. We are blessed to live where we do. There are fewer and fewer places where we can take local action and stop destroying our environment and allow nature to return to its natural balance. I join in the call to please allow us to do so here. It is a thankless and daunting task for all. Let us do our part in the local community to save this small part of the world now and into the future. Thank you for your part in making this happen. And we sure appreciate it and hope you'll support our resolution tonight.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Kathy Durkin. Okay. Is there anyone else in the boardroom who would like to provide public comment today? No? Okay. County Manager, can you please call the members joining?
Yes, I'll go to the Zoom screen. I will call your name based on the order that I have on my computer. First, I have Ms. Kathleen Knudsen. Please unmute yourself. You have 4 minutes. Next, I have Ms. Michelle Wicken. Would you like to provide testimony this afternoon, ma'am?
No testimony. I was just participating to see what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you. That will conclude public testimony, Madam Chair.
Thank you. With that, we will move on to County Manager's update.
Yes, I have a couple of updates for you, Commissioners. First, with great pain, I'd like to acknowledge the passing of Mike Kane, as we know him. He suddenly passed away this past weekend while he was refereeing a football game. Mike began his service to the residents of Thurston County back in 1991, retiring from county service at the end of 2018. He was the Development Services Planning Manager from 2004 to 2018. Mike will be remembered for his sense of humor, his candor, and dedication to the residents of the county. He was always thinking of ways to help, not just himself, his teammates, but the residents. Our thoughts and prayers goes to his family and to our Thurston County family, who he touched on so many different ways. The next item, I'd like to follow up on the comment that you received on the last meeting by Ms. Vivian Eason related to the use of Nextdoor. That is a social media application. As the county disseminates information to our residents, we use social media as a way to engage them in county government, including Nextdoor. The decision not to use this application was done in alignment with our county social media, as well as the requirements for us to keep public records. This application, Nextdoor, does not allow us to comprehensively maintain those records. We will continue to evaluate the options that we have with Nextdoor in the future, and I will keep you posted as to how we could implement this down the road. The next item that I'd like to highlight this afternoon, it was related to an article in the Olympian related to potential locations of a regional airport, both in Pierce County as well as Thurston County. The article was focusing mainly in Thurston County, as the article was generated by the Tacoma News Tribune. But it left the impression, I believe, that perhaps the Board of County Commissioners of Thurston County have not been proactive or have not been involved in this particular matter. So let me walk you through a timeline, at least what I have so far. Back in July of 2020, we were made aware of the State Commission that was looking at different locations of regional airports across the region in Western Washington, was having locations here in Thurston County to further study their feasibility. The board discussed that back in July 2020, and on your behalf, I sent an email on July 10, 2020, to Mr. Fredrickson, David Fredrickson, which is the manager of the state who's managing this commission. In this email, it stated that I would like to inform the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners vote unanimously not to be listed as a sponsor to explore the development of Greenfield Airport in Thurston County, period. Moving forward, back in January 2022, we followed up with a formal letter to Mr. David Flankenstein. This is the chair of the State Commercial Aviation Coordination Commission, also known as the CACC. This letter, in part, states that the Board of County Commissioners received many questions and concerns from the citizens here in Thurston County about the Olympia Regional Airport and any potential locations of a commercial services expansion here in Thurston County. The board again discussed this back in July 2020 and will continue to provide perspective that unanimously we are not supporting any type of greenfield developments in Thurston County. Moving forward to August 2nd, 2022, again to Mr. David Flankenstein, the chair of the State Commercial Aviation Coordinating Commission. Again, the Board of County Commissioners continue to state the fact that we have continued to receive public testimony in opposition to this particular expansion of a regional airport in Thurston County. And again, the Board of County Commission in this letter emphasized and unanimously for the commission not to list Thurston County as a potential greenfield expansion in any areas of the county. We received an acknowledgement email receiving that particular correspondence, and I'd just like to emphasize to the fact that back in 2020, when this matter was brought to the Board of County Commissioners, the Board of County Commissioners have been consistent in stating to the state that you're not in agreement nor you're in support of any type of regional expansion of a regional airport in any areas of Thurston County. Any questions?
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
I don't know as it's a question as much as a statement. We had a discussion on this particular issue this morning, and I believe one of our next moves is going to be to correspond with all of our statewide elected officials that represent any portion of Thurston County and let them know the stance that this commission has taken.
That is correct. That discussion occurred this morning. And at least my editorial comments was I was disappointed how the article in the Olympian was published. It was published in the Olympian, so they didn't give Thurston County the opportunity to provide a perspective. And you're correct, we're going to be working on a potential letter that we can probably have some of the jurisdictions sign in, as well as the local delegation to support the position of the Board of County Commissioners here in Thurston County. In addition, we're going to be exploring the possibility to send a letter to the editorial of the Olympian just to clarify and for sure state the fact what is your position as Board of County Commissioners for the county.
Thank you.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No, Commissioner Edwards covered it.
Okay.
Yep, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so that will conclude County Manager's update. Next is consent items. Is there a motion?
Move to approve consent item 3A.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. This is a non-debatable motion, so I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye, motion passes. Moving on to department items. First item, 4A from the Auditor's Office, approval of the voucher list.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will cover this item. For your consideration is for you to approve the voucher list for the week of August 22nd of 2022 for a combined amount of $1,100,351.35. Usually this item is your consent agenda, as you just approved that. This is a department item before you because it has expenditures related to the atrium, and that is located on page 26 for a total cost of $630.21.
Thank you. Okay. Any questions? Commissioner Edwards?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Menzer? I'm ready for a motion.
Move to approve the voucher list for the week of August 22nd, 2022 for a combined amount of $1,100,351.35.
I will second the motion. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Next is from the Commissioner's Office, item 5A, amend ordinance number 16179.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In July 19, 2022, the majority of the board adopted ordinance number 16179 related to regular and special meetings of the board, including the official meeting room. RCW 42.30.070 requires the board to provide the time and place for holding regular meetings by ordinance, resolution, bylaws, and by whatever other rule is required to conduct the business of the legislative body. The board will be relocating their offices and its official board meeting room from the room 280, building 1, located at 2000 Lake Ridge Drive Southeast in Olympia, Washington, this room, to the first floor board meeting at the 3000 Pacific Avenue, also located in Olympia, Washington, by no later than December 31st, 2022. The ordinance 16179 included the beginning of your official meetings at the new location will be December 1st, 2022, and unfortunately, due to the supply chain issues, we will not be able to deliver the furniture in order for you to occupy that and conduct your regular meetings. There will be some offices and departments that will be moving prior to that date, but considering all the items that you have before you and your legislative decisions that you need to make there in December, it is prudent for you to consider amending this ordinance so your official meetings will begin at the new location, again at the 3000 Pacific Avenue on January 1st, 2023. And that is the purpose of this amendment. Any questions?
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
I don't know if this is a question, but that vote authorizing this ordinance was a vote of the majority of the board, is that right?
As I stated, the majority of the board.
And I just want to stay consistent, so I'm pointing that out. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Menzer?
No questions.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion, sir.
Move to approve an ordinance that will amend Ordinance 16179 and update the date that all regular board meetings will begin at 3000 Pacific to January 1st, 2023.
I'll second the motion. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Mr. Edwards?
Nay.
Mr. Menzer?
Aye.
Mr. Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to item 5B, on-call design and engineering services contracts. Robin Campbell, Assistant County Manager, will report on this.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon. Robin Campbell, Assistant County Manager. And this evening, I'm before you requesting authorization to extend on-call contracts used by Central Services for our capital projects. On-call contracts for architect and engineering services are used by our capital project managers on projects when we don't have the expertise in-house. We went out for an RFP in 2017 and awarded contracts to all qualified bidders. I believe there are 16 vendors on our on-call contracts. And we select the one with the best qualifications to fit the project that we're working on. It's a contract that had extension options. So this will be the last extension in a 6-year cycle. And in 2024, we'll go out to bid again to start anew in 2025. For now, I'm requesting that the board authorize the extension of these on-call contracts.
Questions,
No
Commissioner?
questions.
Okay. I'm ready for a motion.
Move to authorize the Assistant County Manager to extend the term for on-call design and engineering services contracts associated with building repair and construction projects through December 31st, 2024.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Mr. Menzer?
Aye.
Mr. Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Next is the Information Technology Department. Item 6A, renewal of Laserfish maintenance. Dennis Osorio, the Director of Information Technology, will report on this.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is Dennis Osorio, IT Director. I'm here seeking approval to renew our Laserfish licensing and maintenance contract for $118,068.86. This will be per year for a 5-year term. And Laserfish is our primary records management software. It's used extensively through the courts, corrections, and sheriff's office. We've been using this for many years. And there's still additional users also coming on using it as we continue to grow the program. But this is just a maintenance renewal for the product. Any questions?
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No, ma'am, but I would point out to the public if they have any concerns about any of these issues that we're voting on, our work sessions explain the discussions that we've had. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Menzer, questions?
No.
Okay, I don't have any questions either. I'm ready for a motion.
Move to approve the renewal of the CDI contract for current service extension and authorize the Information Technology Director to pay the Laserfish maintenance in the amount of $118,068.86 and any amendments that do not exceed 10% for up to 5 years.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Mr. Menzer?
Aye.
Mr. Mejia?
Aye, motion passes. Item 6B is the renewal of the ESRI maintenance. And Dennis will report on this.
Hello again, and this is for Commissioner Edwards. It is an acronym, and it stands for Environmental Systems Research Institute. But ESRI is much easier. So this is very similar to the
We
previous.
just learned something. Yeah.
Very similar to the previous item. This is, I'm here seeking authorization to renew our ESRI contract for $143,613.20. That includes tax per year for a 5-year term. ESRI is our primary software that allows us to run our GIS, which is our geographical interface system mapping software throughout the county.
Thank you. Questions? Commissioner Edwards.
No, thank you for that, Dennis.
Commissioner Menzer, questions?
No.
No questions from me. I'm ready for a motion.
Move to approve the annual ESRI maintenance contract and authorize the Information Technology Director to pay the ESRI maintenance in the amount of $143,613.20, and any amendments that do not exceed 10% per year for up to 5 years.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Public Health and Social Services, item 7A, approve rent assistance contract amendment with Washington State Department of Commerce. Thomas Webster, Senior Program Manager, will report on this.
Good evening, Commissioners. Tom Webster with Public Health and Social Services. So here to ask your approval to sign a contract amendment with the Department of Commerce to add $2,544,756 to an existing contract for rent assistance under the Treasury Rent Assistance Program 1. We've had a lot of rent assistance in our community over the last 18 months with COVID. This was the first allocation, first TRAP program as it was known, we received from the Department of Commerce. We thought this program had expired and we'd spent down these funds. However, the Department of Commerce received a reallocation of funds from other communities that were unable to spend their TRAP funds. And Department of Commerce identified Thurston County as a county that had spent our funds and was able to spend these additional funds. Therefore, Commerce is awarding us this additional $2.5 million. They're also extending the contract, which was scheduled to expire September 30th of this year, until December 29th to allow us to expend these funds. So asking your approval to sign an amendment to receive this additional funding from the state for rental assistance. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No.
Tom, my question would be in regards to, I know that there wasn't enough funds, there was a lot of requests from residents here in Thurston County. Is there a wait list for these funds?
Yes, we will. We do have a list of people who are still waiting for rental assistance that will be able to utilize these funds. And we are also working with the Dispute Resolution Center of Thurston County that also has a list of people going through an eviction process who may be able to access these funds if they're eligible.
Thank you. Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve a contract amendment to the Washington State Department of Commerce Treasury Rent Assistance Program to add $2,544,756 for a total contract value of $12,755,695, and to extend the period of performance to December 29, 2022, and authorize the county manager to sign the contract amendment and any future amendments that do not change the amount or duration by more than 10%.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. On a similar note, item 7B is rent assistance contract with Life Stories. Tom?
Great, thank you, Commissioners. So this is a follow-up item to the previous item. So with that contract amendment from Commerce, we would like to award the majority of those funds to Live Stories, also known as GIACO, to continue implementing the rent assistance program for our county. So this will end up being a new contract with Live Stories for these funds, but it continues funds that they have already. There's different pots of TRAP money, so this is in some ways a new pot of money. So it's a new contract, but we're looking to add these funds to the Live Stories contract so they can continue to implement rent assistance for our county. And happy to answer any questions on that.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions. Thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer? No questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve a contract with Giaco Inc., DBA Live Stories, for up to $2,310,962 to continue rent and utility assistance programs in Thurston County, funded through the Washington State Department of Commerce under the Treasury Rent Assistance Program 1, and authorize the county manager to sign the contract and any amendments that do not change the amount or duration by more than 10%.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Item 7C is the approval of housing and essential needs and rapid rehousing contracts. Keely Marino, our homeless and affordable housing coordinator, will report on this.
Good evening, Commissioners. Keely Marino with Public Health and Social Services. Today, we are seeking approval on contracts for the Housing and Essential Needs Program and the Rapid Rehousing Program. We are seeking approval for contracts between the county and Catholic Community Services for no more than $2.4 million for the HEN, Housing and Essential Needs Program, and an additional $175,000 for rapid rehousing. Additionally, a third contract between the county and Family Support Center for $100,000 for their coordinated entry program. As you know, on June 30th of 2022, Community Action Council did notify our office, the Office of Housing and Homeless Prevention, that they would not be renewing their housing and essential needs or rapid rehousing contracts ongoing. And over the last several months, through a concerted effort of members of our office, fiscal services at the county level, as well as through some contracts with Partners of Prevention Education to provide case management, and for payment processing for August, September, and October live stories, we've been able to maintain the HEN program ongoing and attempt to eliminate any issues around transitioning this program from CAC to the new permanent provider. So we do hope that tonight we can complete that transition from CAC to the providers that I've mentioned to you this evening.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer? No questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
Move to approve housing and essential needs and rapid rehousing contracts between the county and Catholic Community Services for no more than $2,400,000 for HEN, $175,000 for RRH, and additionally between the County and Family Support Center for the Coordinated Entry Program for $100,000, and authorize the county manager to sign the contracts and any amendments that do not change the approved dollar amount or duration by more than 10%.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any discussions?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Our final item from Public Works, item 8A, resolution of intention to establish Offit Lake Management District number 24 and set a public hearing. Tim Wilson, our Water Resources Manager, will report on this.
Good evening, Commissioners. Tim Wilson, Water Resources Manager with Public Works. Staff is here tonight requesting the board consider a resolution of intention to establish Offit Lake Management District number 24 and set a public hearing to hear comments related to the proposed formation of Offit Lake Management District. To provide some background on this item, the Offit Lake residents submitted a petition for formation of a county-supported lake management district that met the requirements of RCW 3661, which establishes county's authority to establish LMDs and requires that at least 20% of the affected district acreage sign a petition for consideration. The legal process for formation of a proposed LMD includes several major steps and typically takes 9 to 10 months to complete. The first two board actions would be to consider the resolution of intention to establish the LMD and to set the public hearing to hear community objections. The resolution of intention serves three major functions. It recognizes the validity of the submitted petition. It outlines the intent of the proposed LMD, and it outlines how the proposed LMD would be managed. RCW 36 requires the Board of County Commissioners, prior to passing a resolution of intention, and again, prior to authorizing a community vote, to consider whether the formation of the proposed LMD is both in the public interest to create the LMD and that the financing of the LMD maintenance activities are feasible. The board received a briefing on the proposed district on August 17th. If formed, an LMD creates a county-managed program directed by Public Works and supported by a county-managed advisory committee who provide input and information to Public Works on short and long-term management strategies. The county maintains staff who serve as technical experts regarding lake management activities. Thurston County LMDs are subject to all county-adopted policies and procedures and are required to align work plans to complement and support all board-adopted programs. If formed, management of the Offutt Lake Management District by county staff would require an additional half full-time equivalent county employee, depending upon components of the work plan. The purpose of the proposed Offutt Lake Management District, as stated in the petition received by Thurston County, is to protect the water quality, fish and wildlife, recreation, and aesthetic values of Offutt Lake through the implementation of appropriate lake management programs. Per the petition, the OLMD is proposed for 10 years, beginning on January 1, 2023, and sunsetting on December 31, 2032. However, the current schedule for formation of the proposed district would not meet the timeline necessary to collect funds from rates in 2023. Annual rates and charges, once collected, will be used to raise funds to support district activities. The estimated amount raised in rates and charges in the first year is estimated to be $82,991. And with that, staff is requesting the board consider the resolution of intention to establish Offutt Lake Management District number 24 and to set a public hearing to hear comments related to the proposed district.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer? Okay, I'm ready for a motion, sir.
I move to approve the resolution of intention to establish Offutt Lake Management District number 24 and set a public hearing date for November 1st, 2022 at 3:30 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building number 1, Room 280, to hear objections to the formation of the proposed Offutt Lake Management District number 24.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I'll ask. So, Tim, I just wanted to point that out because this came up with Pattison, that the way I think this tracks the, if I understand right, this tracks the law, and the public hearing on November 1st is really to hear objections rather than, folks coming in and saying they support the district. I mean, we don't turn people away, but just to kind of clarify, am I right about that?
Yeah, you're exactly right, Commissioner. The verbiage that you're reading in the motion follows the statute, although the board has received comments, both pro and con, during the public hearing.
Okay, just thought the public might want to hear that clarification. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Our next item, commissioners will report on board work sessions and assigned committee meetings, providing updates on actions taken as well as upcoming issues. Commissioner Menzer is excused for the duration of this meeting. So Commissioner Edwards, we will start with you.
Attended the Timber Counties Caucus with Commissioner Menzer. Presented to the Kiwanis Club here in Olympia their 100-year recognition and proclamation from the county board, representing the county board. Attended steady on Nisqually River Council, Thurston County Fire Commissioners meeting, mainstream, expanding to 5, explained to the mainstream Republican group the expanding of 5 county commission districts, and the EMS Council. That'll do it for me, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I was on vacation last week, so I don't have much to report, but I did attend the Interbranch Advisory Committee, which is an advisory committee that was formed by legislator last year, which includes members of the legislature as well as the Supreme Court, Administrative Office of the Courts, Superior Court, District Court, the Clerk's Office, Office of Public Defense, a representative from the Association of the Cities, and a representative from the Association of the Counties. I was chosen to represent the counties on that. And the discussion topics basically were in regards to the budget request that the Administrative Office of the Courts was going to make. The proposal number one is a jury diversity package. They're going to be requesting to do a jury demographic study across the state. They want to establish a pilot project to explore if free childcare would increase jury diversity and jury response rates. I laid out my concerns as I know Thurston County has looked at those possibilities. I asked if they were planning to do an in-house childcare system, and if not, were they planning to provide the infrastructure for that? Because I told them that was one of the things that Thurston County ran into was we didn't have the space available to be able to provide childcare in-house just because we didn't have the facilities. And they said that they would be looking also at a voucher system where they would be coordinating with outside daycare centers and providing vouchers for jury members that need that daycare assistance. So that was one of the discussion items. Then it was increasing juror pay and the possibility of addition of email summons for jury service. The next proposal was eliminating reporting requirements for RCW 9.73.120. This brought me back to my Superior Court days. Basically, once a year, Superior Court has to report on the wiretaps warrants requested. Then it's sent to the Administrative Office of the Courts, and then after that, they have to build a report and send it to the governor's office. That's something, you know, I think everyone was pretty much in support of because it definitely cuts off on the time and the staff time that they, you know, staff has to collect that on a yearly basis. The proposal number 3 was additional judicial positions for the County District Court, and proposal number 4 was increasing Superior Court pro tem compensation. So I asked a specific question in regards to the impact fees that Thurston County gets, and they said that that was part of their base budget since it was a policy decision and that we would be receiving those. So that is all I have to report on that. Item 9B, the county manager will review the Board of County Commissioners schedule for the week of September 27th, 2022.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will be walking you through the your schedule where at least 2 commissioners will be present. And you may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. Nothing for the remainder of the date. Lucky you. Wednesday, September 28, 9 in the morning, you have a briefing related to the emergency housing ordinance, the permitting criteria flexibility. 9:30 tomorrow, you have a briefing related to the county options for the 2023 health insurance contributions. Followed 10:30, briefing related to electric vehicles charging stations. At 11 in the morning tomorrow, September 28th, you have a briefing related to the ARPA funds, the American Rescue Plan Act, spending strategies. You have been invited at noon tomorrow to participate on the Racial Equity Lunch and Learn. And at 2 in the afternoon, you have a briefing related to the redistricting maps, where at that point, I will ask the board and weigh in on the preferred alternatives that I will be presented to you tomorrow afternoon. Thursday, September 29, at 10 in the morning, you have a briefing related to the Solid Waste Advisory Committee. On Friday, September 30th, at 1 in the afternoon in this room, you have the Board of County Commissioners staff retreat with your staff of the Commissioner's Office. Monday, October 3rd, we'll begin the week with budget presentations. That's the whole week is just budgets. and go from 9 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. We will give you a break for lunch, except for Tuesday, October 4th. You will have your regular agenda setting at 9 in the morning, your regular Board of County Commissioners at 2 in the afternoon. You have 2 public hearings, one related to the Development Code Docket, Item 8.8, which is the Habitat Conservation Plan Implementation Ordinances, followed by a public hearing related to the speed limit revisions on some county roadways. And that's all I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, it is 7 p.m. We are adjourned.